So we're going to talk to two amazing human beings, Mario and Jody, about something very, very dear to their hearts, which is really this idea of ticketing, but more importantly, bringing a experience to fans in physical space around the kind of content that they really love, that we all love, which is music. And I want to let Jody and Mario maybe introduce themselves and maybe touch more importantly on why is it that what you're doing over at Ticketmaster and over at Quantum is important to you.
Yeah, so Mario Ciabarra, I'm the founder and CEO of Quantum. What Quantum does is we look at behavioral analytics to understand where a customer is struggling on digital presences. So, why I do what I do. I think back at maybe 20 years ago, I worked in retail. People would come into the store, I'd help them, I'd let them go about doing their business, and I could see in their eyes when they were struggling, when they needed help. And what have we done on digital for the last 20 years? I think the furthest we've come to that has been a pop-up box that says, how can I help you? And I think there's a better way to deliver experiences online. So that's what we do at Quantum, and that's what keeps me up every day.
Well, tell us a little bit of why that's important to you personally. How do you get involved? Why did you get involved? How do you see the work that you are doing really positively impacting the space?
Yeah, I think everyone can relate to the concept of, I guess even just thinking for me, when I went from dial-up to broadband, once I had a taste of what was excellent, I never could look back. And I think all of us have had this experience on Amazon, and they've set this really great bar of delivering incredible experiences. And I look at, we work with lots of different verticals in financial, automotive, even pet food supply. And if you think about the core knowledge at a pet food company, what do they know about digital? And if we can go in and help them deliver an experience like Amazon, I think this is where these digital transformations are happening, where we're not going into stores as often, where we're buying online. I just want to remove those frustration points.
Decommodify the online experience.
Yeah, and the 65% growth that Amazon owned from e-commerce growth last year, I don't think it should be one company. I think these brands have a way to deliver incredible experience as well.
Jody?
Great, yeah, so I'm Jody Mulkey, the CTO at Ticketmaster. And, when I first joined the company, I quickly realized that, we're in the business of connecting people with these unforgettable moments of joy, right? So we've all been to a live event, whether it's a concert, a basketball game, or a Broadway play, and you've had that moment where you were just, in rapture of the experience, right? And, I think for me, it's important because, as humans are tribal beings, we like to experience things together. Right. We were talking backstage, and the first live event was a caveman reenacting the hunt around the campfire, right? And that's just part of our DNA. It's part of our fiber of who we are. And as we get more addicted to digital, right, there's still, our evolution is not caught up. Technology is drastically outpacing evolution. So we still have it in us where we need to experience things with other people. And live events are this magical thing that happens. And for 2 hours at a concert, you're not worried about, is my kid going to get into college? Or I hope grandma's health gets better. Or I hope I keep my job. You're in that moment. And right. there's just nothing like it. So for me, for the chance to make that experience better, and to get tickets into the hands of real fans and making it accessible, I get fired up by it off.
What was interesting when we were backstage was talking about the fact that our kids these days, they're really finding their tribe or finding their friends and like-minded peers that enjoy maybe the same music they do in digital space. And that's why these ideas of festivals and physical gatherings is becoming so much more important, because it's actually a way that our children, who are starting increasingly to live their lives in digital space, are finding ways to express themselves in a very human way with other people. And so this idea of festival culture really on the rise over the past 6-7 years, and also meetup culture, conference culture, a lot of that really starts with the ticketing.
Yeah.
And I'd love you guys to maybe talk a little bit about how that live experience has changed in terms of how it's actually significant now to this younger crop of consumers, and how you see ticketing really factoring into their ability to experience that in a more authentic way.
Yeah. So, one thing that we observe at Ticketmaster is, artists, they don't price their tickets at the intersection of supply and demand. right? They price them at sort of the maximum amount an average fan could pay. And they do that because they're long-term brand managers, right? They don't want you to come to one tour. They want you to come to the next 20 tours. And so, but what that creates is this arbitrage opportunity. It's $7 billion, the difference between primary ticket sales and the real value on the open market. And because of that $7 billion, there are thousands of bad actors out there in the world basically trying to buy tickets and compete with fans. And fans cannot compete with a computer bot network or a human bot network. Fans just don't have a chance. So for us, that's a big thing, is making it accessible, right? And so that the third grade math teacher can go see Beyonce, right? Because she can't afford a $400 ticket. And so we developed some technology and a product called Verified Fan, where we let fans come and register. We take a few pieces of information, their email, their mobile phone number. We then bounce that up against the billion transactions that we have and a couple pieces of third-party data. And then basically, we then put those real fans to the front of the line and the bad guys to the back of the line. And it's been incredible. It reduces scalping by 90%. We did it for Ed Sheeran, 1975, The Weeknd. Harry Styles is going to go on sale tomorrow through this. And it's a way to get tickets into the hands of true fans. And when you see the reaction, it's amazing. And people are like, I can't believe Christmas came early. Right. And fans just go bananas over that. And so it's so exciting for us to be able to do that, because the artist want the front row to be their super fans, right? And so I think making it accessible, making it fair, right, putting fans first, it's a really exciting time, and I think that they have a better chance than ever.
So to double click on the accessibility issue, because that is a very important one, especially as these artists are looking for their best ambassadors to be the ones that actually get to experience a live event.
Yeah.
How do you guys over at Quantum think through the accessibility aspect? Because everyone's going to experience your transaction model very differently when they're going through the ticket buying process. And right now it's completely commoditized, right?
Sure. I think when we look at it, we've been working in the ticket space for just about a year. I think what's interesting from your last comments is the growth of the desire to be involved in live concerting, that human aspect. We spend, I think it's over 10,000 glances and interactions with maybe a mobile device on a daily basis. And so that value of a live venue is growing. If you can imagine that we're spending more time in digital, so our physical time with others has increased in its value, which has caused a little bit of strife in terms of that intersection of what's the value of a venue versus what it's being sold for, and how do you make it accessible to fans. I think for us, one of the most maybe undesirable parts of that entire aspect is get me a ticket. This is a pain point of a fan. Like, I just want to go to the concert. I want to enjoy it. This ticketing process isn't the fun part. And in talking and working with Jody, I think we discussed 4 billion different permutations of delivering a ticket. An artist can configure, a venue can configure, and how they deliver their ticket. And for us, 4 billion is too much to test, for us, for the marketplace. So what we do at Quantum is help figure out where are the pain points, where are the frustrations of getting those tickets into those fans' hands, and help smooth out that process.
So as the number of physical experiences actually does increase, because artists are obviously trying to connect with fans in this way, what do you guys think is the responsibility of platforms and technologies like you to help fans figure out what experiences they would love to attend? But more importantly, will you also have a responsibility to tell them, hey, these are the groups of people you should be going to these experiences with, because it creates new connections. How deep in that can you go, especially with the stuff you guys are doing in machine learning?
Yeah, I would say, for us, it's really about identifying those fans, right? So right now, we have one name for every 2.8 tickets that are sold, right? And so an artist doesn't know who's actually even attending the event. And
this is because of the scalpers, because of the people that are
no,
buying versus the people that
the people that buy
right?
are not really the people that always
right.
attend. And typically one person buys, and then when they walk in, they sort of hand tickets. So we believe that really identity is the future of ticketing, right? And so a ticket's a license. It goes back to like case law of some boxing match in Boston in 1700s to occupy a place and time. And that's licensed to a person. And so I tell our clients when we talk about de-anonymizing these ticket buyers, it's really so that we can engage with them, right? Why did they spend $100 million marketing Fast and Furious 7? Because they didn't have the email addresses, or they went to Fast and Furious 6, right? If you knew everyone who was in the venue, if you knew everyone that had that experience, you could then engage with them. And then you could also, more importantly, let them engage with each other, right? Because this experience, we've had this experience together. You go to a live event, music show, like the music has touched you, it's touched another person, and that doesn't happen anywhere else, right? Even if you film it or stream it or VR it, it's not going to be the same, right? Humans, they need this way to be together, and it's our responsibility to offer them the ability to connect with the people that had the same experience.
So talk a little bit about VR. So there's been a lot of interest right now, of course, in immersive music experience facilitated by virtual reality. There's been a lot of technologies now that allow someone to experience a synesthetic kind of way around music, right? See colors versus just hearing the musical tones. How do you see the VR space playing into that ongoing engagement model that artists are going to have with fans?
Yeah, I think it's looking at the influx of technology into live concerts. We were talking about, what was the Hurdle, the bands. If you've been to a Coldplay concert or some of the latest venues of engaging fans with technology, whether it be light, colors, and I think if you talk about VR and putting a headset on, I don't see it personally for me. I think we spend so much time with technology that personal physical experience is irreplaceable. There's no tech that I would like to get involved with that could do it. I do think that you can enhance the experience. You can read a crowd. You can figure out are they responding and then react to it. But for me, not a VR.
Yeah. So for me, I see it as it's definitely there's no cannibalization. I don't believe in that at all. Right. And I also don't believe we looked at a ton of VR. As being Ticketmaster is a proud division of Live Nation. And so we're the largest concert promoter in the world. And so we look at a lot of those technologies, and everybody wants to come and be our partner. And I don't think anyone has really created that VR experience yet. There's dozens and dozens of companies that have really compelling ideas, and they're in the game, but no one has actually figured it out. So I think it's an exciting space. But as Mario said, it's just not the same. And I think that once people can grok that and get past the point of that this is going to replace going to a concert, that's when the real creativity is going to happen, right?
So that being the case, because there's so much innovation going on in the music space, and if we were to just say, leave the content, we know the content drives most of the value here, but take that aside, on the technology platform stack, where do you guys see the largest value gaps right now? Where someone approaching the space can say, hey, this is where I can really start to build value, start to tie in all the different layers. Where's the opportunity for you guys?
It's not so much, I think, on the. My perspective of being involved in this industry is I think Ticketmaster for 20-some plus years is playing a cat and mouse game with fraud, with abuse, with bots, et cetera. And we were talking just earlier about, I think what we've done a little bit with Quantum is get some insights into the automated bots, the computer bots, but there's human bots too. And so how do you solve this? And I think that you can use machine learning. You can look at the behavioral attributes of what a true fan is. And this is something that Ticketmaster has obviously engaged in and have had tremendous success with such a small percent of tickets being resold on secondary markets when they engage with their new verified fan technology. But for me, it is a cat and mouse game, but I think we can take 5-10 steps forward at helping prevent, or helping get tickets into the hands of true fans, for sure. Yeah,
for me, if you kind of set things aside, I think that understanding who's coming to the venue, understand who's coming to the show, because it's a fixed capacity.
Right.
And so we're looking at ways to identify fans and help get tickets in the right fans, right? So I tell my clients, like, do you want to sell a ticket to Jody Mulkey who sneaks his water bottle in, or to Mario who buys bottle service? I'm pretty sure you want to do that. And so we're looking at ways to provide analytics so they can better market to those folks. But I think, and as Live Nation, we are investing a ton in these in-venue experiences, whether it be premium VIP, whether it be early entry, that's a game changer for us, premium wines, right, premium experience, Because, let's face it, we saw this in 2008. When the economy went down, people still went to concerts because they can't afford the $3,000 trip to Hawaii, but they can't afford the $500 night out at a concert. And I think there's just an opportunity to amplify that experience, to make it extra special. I got a tough job and 2 little kids. So for me to go to a concert, it's a big deal. And making that experience special and memorable and really capturing that moment, and then helping remind me of that moment so that I can feel the way I felt, right, when the artist went on stage. If we can figure out a way to continue to tease out and get people in that same headspace as they were when they left the concert, right, it's invaluable.
So ticketing has almost always been measured by revenue from the ticket sales. If you were to sit down right now and say, if I want to redefine this industry, I want to measure our success by some other metric than just the revenue, how would you think about that? What questions would you ask? What kind of new metrics would you come up with?
Yeah, well, I mean, again, ticketing is just part of the equation, right? Artists make most of their money on the road, so that's why they're on the road.
Yeah.
And our clients, the venues, they're trying to maximize those opportunities.
Right.
The weekend doesn't come to my venue, right, all the time. And so we're trying to help them find ways to really maximize, because it's not just the ticket price itself, right? It's the entire experience, right? And so unforgettable moments of joy, right? That's a big bucket of things. It starts from the time you hear about the tour to the time they announce the dates to the time you buy the ticket to the that time between you buy the ticket and go to the show and build up some excitement, and here's the set list of where they kicked off the tour at, and really amplifying that, because it's an end-to-end experience. It's not just buying the ticket. Right. And so a ticket is just a part of it. And so we're trying to get way upstream of buying the ticket and way downstream of actually when they go into the venue, right? And we'll understand that, oh, Jonathan is in the venue, right? Oh, Jonathan, thanks for coming again. Here's a special offer, right? And so it's really about that. That's about maximizing the total overall revenue, if that's the case. And the other side would be, what percent of real fans came to the show, right?
Right.
Because that's what makes the magic, right? It's the art on stage. It's the interaction of the art with the fans and the fans with each other. That's what makes this moment so special.
And I would say, just my last point to that, we're coming to an end, but I think there's one word I would describe, and I think we could go to every stage here. I think we've said it about 26 times, is this one word, experience.
Yeah.
Right.
And I think that, how do you measure the success of anything? We've shrunken computers down into our pockets. We've shrunken prices down, for sensors down to $1.50 from hundreds. We've moved along in marketing, we've moved along in pricing. I think where everything is coming to alignment.
It's converging on experience.
It's experience.
Yeah.
How do we deliver better experiences, whether it's buying a ticket, whether it's going to the venue, whether it's leaving a venue or coming and going to a venue. We're going to measure the future by one word, experience.
So just to finish it off, maybe just spend like 15 seconds, a one-liner around what you think the music world needs most right now from a technology standpoint.
I think the music world needs a way for artists to amplify and connect with their fans in a whole nother way. Social media has done that, but there's still a piece that's missing. And there's a way to bring these tribes of people together, right, that are Harry Styles fans, and bring them together in a way that it just hasn't been done. It's been tried, but no one's been successful. I think there's a huge opportunity to create this taste-based community. I think there's a big opportunity there. We're always on the lookout for startups and things that have kind of gone down that road, but a way to find your tribe and a way to interact with the content and really relate with each other, right?
Right.
And I think it's the same, the word experience, and if we dive, what does that mean from a technology perspective? I think there's this thirst, this hunger for us to engage, live. And when we look at our concerts, how do these artists engage with us, on a personal level? And we can do better with technology, whether it's wearables, whether it's these wristbands, whatever the future of tech holds. I think it's going to be pushing us to this more live engagement, this more personalized, connection with the artist, with the fans around us. So that's the future.
Interaction, I think.
Absolutely.
I think you're absolutely right. Thank you very much, guys.
Thank you, Jonathan. Appreciate it. Thank you, Jody.